Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm an Earth Keeper for ESET, which stands for Earth Council Embassy Trust. We are an international team of freedom lovers who have devised a peace plan and a way for humanity to achieve it. We realize humanity needs to make an evolutionary leap of consciousness to save the planet for later generations. We live in a time where ecosystem collapse is a reality and economic failure certain unless we put into action a well thought out plan for peace. Peace between people and the other life forms that we share this beautiful blue world. We do not blame our leaders or the richest 500 people when the world we have today is the result of thousands of years of evolution. We pay for our slavery when we allow banks to make money out of thin air, when really all should have access to clean water, land, and seed as a birthright. Via one vote, the first world vote, we can collectively regain our sovereignty, our freedom, and create peace. Let's collectively make an evolutionary leap of consciousness now before it's too late. We need to evolve the United Nations into something more fair, where all countries have their voice heard equally. The current system of the United Nations is systematically inequitable. 5 countries hold veto power, and the rest of the world is disempowered. On the world stage, might is right. However, we don't let bullies rule our streets. So why do we put up with this mentality on a global level?
Recognizing these, ESET devised an evolution of the United Nations, where we shared the Earth into 12 regions, and from these regions, each send a male and female delegate to Earth Council, a 24-seat council. This design creates fairness in terms of region and gender. However, we realized the people of Earth needed a number of fail-safes to protect them from Earth Council. The first fail-safe is to invert the power pyramid so the people and their communities are at the top.
As long as your community does not harm the earth or create weapons of destruction, you will be left in peace to live as you please. ESET realizes there is not one right way to live, and that diversity is essential to harmonious balancing of the whole. The second fail-safe is direct democracy, which fulfills the highest aspirations of both communism and democracy, as governance is by the people. We the people vote what laws are created or deleted, whether on a local level or global level or any level in between. A 2/3 majority vote is needed to pass a law in or out. And to protect the direct democratic process from being flooded with issues few care about, you need 10% of the population to petition for a vote on an issue. For example, whether alcohol is legal in your community of 1 million people, 100,000 people need petition for it, need to wish there be a vote on the legality of alcohol in your community. Therefore, we the people create the agenda and decide the outcome. Council members no longer represent us, no longer make our decisions. They are simply there to administer or in action the people's will as reflected in the voting results. 2 independent information technology teams will need to monitor the direct democratic process as we use the internet, smartphones, and computers to make our vote or petition for a vote. These 2 independent IT teams are the third fail-safe. Those communities without computers will have them made available to them. The voting process will be transparent, so everyone can see how everyone voted. No more secret ballots. This transparency is the fourth and final fail-safe of the direct democratic process. It will need to be passed into law that it is illegal to pressure a person to vote a particular way.
We are not against anyone. We recognise the current world leaders and richest 500 families who own half the world are not to blame for the world we have today. We are the result of thousands of years of evolution, where might is right, where the strongest prevail and the weak are enslaved or killed. It is true in this world we live in now, you either fight for your place in the world, or accept that you will be ruled by those who create the money and have the most deadly weapons. However, humanity has come to a point in evolution where the motivation of self-interest no longer serves us, as we are literally destroying our habitat, our home, which we all need for our survival and prosperity. By ignoring, ridiculing, or attacking the science behind global warming, the corporate media has done a good job of propaganda, but has done a disservice to truth and justice. Some of the same people responsible for sowing doubts about the harms associated with tobacco smoking have lent their expertise to sow doubt about global warming. There has been an overall warming trend in the Antarctic and Southern Ocean region over the past half century, a 2.5 to 3 degree rise. This is a rate 10 times faster than the rest of the planet. Moreover, as more ice melts, less heat is reflected by the ice and the water warms even more. Conditions in the Antarctic and Antarctic drive climate around the world and are good examples to study. There is ample hard evidence of this warming from an array of independent studies from many countries, some from NASA and the US military. Example, the ice thickness. Nuclear submarines have noticed a thinning and documented it. Climatologist James Hansen of the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies warns that atmospheric carbon dioxide levels above 350 parts per million, lower than current readings, may trigger catastrophic rises in sea levels, something the islands in the southern seas are already feeling as they have to abandon their homes. The basic proposition behind the science of climate change is so firmly rooted in the laws of physics that no reasonable person can dispute it. Insurance companies have also noticed a drastic increase in the rate of so-called natural disasters. Extreme weather patterns are now the norm as insurance policies skyrocket. A systematic destruction of this planet is indeed happening, and it is happening at an ever-increasing rate. This is our unfortunate situation. We have poisoned the land, our water and air, and the results are there before us. Species extinction is at the fastest rate in history, bar one event millions of years ago when 99.9% of all life was made extinct. There are fruitcakes who suggest 1,600 scientists from over 100 countries are in a conspiracy to trick us. The truth, as usual, when it comes to double talk, is the opposite. There is a conspiracy. Protect profits, even if it costs the Earth. The December 1997 Climate Summit in Kyoto, Japan, generated a call to action from a prominent list of signatories representing the most impressive body of scientific minds ever assembled. The following public warning to humanity was unanimously agreed by 1,600 scientists, which included the majority of the living Nobel Prize winners in the sciences. Stanford University ecologist Paul Enrich, considers that the answer to our global predicament will be quasi-religious. He advises that our main problem is not a lack of technology or information. Rather, our problem is intrinsic to the way we perceive our relationship with the rest of nature and our role in the grand scheme of things. Harvard biologist E.O. Wilson suggests that we foster biophilia, a love of life. Environmental philosopher J. Bud Callicott recommends in his recent book, In Defense of the Land Ethic, that the nature wisdom of traditional Native Americans might become a role model for the world. The idea that native worldviews are steeped in genuine environmental wisdom arises from a clear recognition of indigenous society's sense of relationship with the natural world. But even if you do not believe we are leaving the planet in a worse condition for our children, most people want peace. But war is necessary to the economic success of the most powerful countries in the world, and some of the richest people profit from war. How can the meek, how can the many hope for real and lasting peace? We say this with no blame. We've evolved to this point over thousands of years, and blaming current leaders and the rich is simplistic and also incorrect. It was with this understanding we devised a peace plan that protects the people of Earth from exploitation and protects the millions of life forms we share this planet with. But what we face is within us all. It is fear. We are controlled by fear, even those who do not acknowledge the fact. It is because of fear we build all kinds of weapons of destruction. Because in the world right now, we know if we do not want to be enslaved or destroyed, we must prepare for war. It is not simplistic to state that if we do not transcend our current motivating force of evolution, we may well completely destroy the life-giving properties of our planet, which we all need for our collective survival and prosperity. Perhaps the ecological perils we all face will be the motivating force that we need to grow up, to transcend war, and to manifest peace. For might is not right. To build peace, we need to create trust. But how can we learn to trust one another? One of our first steps needs to be the creation of a fair and equitable Earth Council. It must be democratic. Power must reside with the people and their communities. It is through Earth Council we can begin to have the conversations we need to have with each other. The rule of law needs to extend from national boundaries to the whole planet. The law of non-harm needs to govern, for might is not right. It is not complicated. Local communities make their own laws and police themselves. Life really is meant to be simple. Freedom to access land, water and seed, so we can create our own food and goods locally. The Pachamama Alliance is a group of present-day shamans and elders of Ecuador who are inviting us to change the dream we are dreaming. They have understood that if they cannot inspire us to do this, their home will be destroyed. Just like the film Avatar, only this is real life. Their rivers will be polluted and their whole way of living will be irretrievably mutilated. The once proud people will be left to eke out a survival on the fringes of towns and cities as beggars. The oil under their forests will give the USA its oil requirement for 21 days. And does anyone see this story on the news? The media won't give us regular updates and reports. Most of the time, they fail to report at all. Perhaps you can understand why the elders of the Pachamama Alliance are inviting us to change the dream. They know they cannot confront us on a field of battle, and that the only chance for survival is to convince us that our way of life threatens not only their lives, but the future of the whole human race. If they don't make us their allies, their whole way of life will be destroyed, and ours will soon follow. The truth is, we need to save them to save ourselves. The Pachamama Alliance and many other modern day elders of Indigenous people are asking everyone to listen and learn from their culture. Their understanding of our shared world is based on thousands of years of harmonious living with this planet. We are part of these corporations, and because we have programmed them to make profit at any legal cost, we have made them greedy and psychopathic. They have no feelings. Consequently, if there are no laws against them sending militias to evict native people from ancestral lands, they will do it, as long as there is a profit. Unfortunately, after we programmed these potentially immortal entities, we then enslaved ourselves to them. The CEOs are replaceable, and our national governments compromised. Corporations could be a force for good in the world if we program them correctly. They could be neutral or positive in their impact. They could serve us rather than rule us. You can make a consciousness-raising documentary or deliver an interballistic missile. It is not the computer which is to blame, but the ones who use the tool. The flower of life has represented important meaning to many people throughout history. It can be found in temples, art, and manuscripts of cultures from all over the world. The following are some of the locations in which the flower of life symbol has been cited. The flower of life represents the interdependence and interconnectedness of all life. It is a life-affirming representation of the unity of all life, and it is for every human being, no matter what country. It unites us all, which is important, as we are one human family with one common destiny. Unfortunately, at the moment, there is an almost spiritual belief in growth. Politicians speak so matter-of-factly about the need to continually grow the economy, and the faster the better. The truth is the exact opposite. The planet is finite. It has finite resources and a finite ability to cope with pollution. The Earth cannot cope with the pollution the industrial countries produce, let alone the developing nations like China, India, and Brazil. Many scientists and indigenous elders say we are breaking the laws of nature. Some of these elders, both native and scientific, say we have already passed the point of no return. Because of our use of oil, we spend 10 calories of energy for a gain of only 1. For any other life form, such a deficit in energy would lead to species extinction. Humans are not exempt or immune to natural law. We must make a great turn. We need to change the dream of growth to zero growth. True prosperity is linked to sustainability. Without a healthy ecosystem, there is no prosperity. Just like without personal health, there is no enjoyment of life. ESET is not here to tear anything down. Our role is to evolve what is already in place. Build a bridge from where we are now to a peaceful and prosperous world for all beings whose home is the earth. We call for the first world vote. We can and will create this vote. Change the United Nations to Earth Council. But who is responsible for the creation of this vote? It is everyone's. It is yours. Because to hold a global vote needs a huge budget. We need your support in terms of money, time and energy. ESET are setting a date for all humanity to organise itself and hold the first world vote on December 21st, 2020. Whether or not we are successful in holding this vote depends on you. Whether you have the courage to unite, to inform others of this peace plan, whether you have the generosity to give your money, time and energy to the creation of the first world vote. ESET have simply devised a blueprint for peace with 4 fail-safes, which protect the people from exploitation. And we have devised a way to achieve it, the holding of the first world vote. Who will join with us and help actually create and hold the first world vote? For when the first world vote is held, we will win the vote in favour of Earth Council by over 90% in most countries. This blueprint for peace may well represent humanity's last chance to save itself from a collective mass suicide. We cannot discuss a blueprint for peace without an impartial study of religion. What our research has uncovered is that for all their differences, they all agree on the fundamental importance of peace, love and happiness. This is not a new observation. However, the current media format prefers conflict stories, not articles or videos on the synergy which does exist between all the world's great spiritual traditions. The call for the first world vote, the Earth Council Blueprint for Peace, adheres to 3 life-affirming principles. 1. I am a human being. 2. I want to be happy and I don't want to suffer. 3. Other human beings, like me, also want to be happy and do not want to suffer. ESET is not anti-corporations, but we do realise they need to be reprogrammed. We acknowledge the necessity of global environmental standards, as protection of the earth is also protection of the interests of children yet unborn. Now we have a blueprint for peace, with 4 fail-safes, and a pathway to implementation. Change the UN to EC. We need to build a vehicle together. First world vote. All get in. Sovereignty consciousness, Earth Council. And make a great turn. Negotiate a way to peace with each other and our home. We can and will do it. It is a beautiful story the whole universe is witnessing. All of creation is holding its collective breath as we come to the climax of the story. What will they choose? And the words come up, to be continued. The universe groans, but already they are lining up for the sequel beginning now. Come on everybody, I'm not driving. Peace is. Love knows the way, and happiness is everyone's destination. Revolutions are dead. Conscious evolution is the way forward. We Earth Keepers are not freedom fighters. We are freedom lovers. And there is no way to peace, for peace is the way. Come on, mother lovers, let's roll.